What's going on, everyone? American Leeds podcast. I'm Alex Simon, once again live from my car. Um, don't forget, we are going live tomorrow with Gier Lynch from Leeds United The View and Michael, aka Leeds United Faithful on Twitter. We're going to be doing a recap of Chelsea, a recap of the Cup game Wednesday night against Barnsley, as well as a preview of the weekend at Brighton. So that should be fun. So like, subscribe, continue to grow this channel organically. I am an American fan of Leeds United. I discovered Leeds United in the Championship when a Spurs fan and a Liverpool fan challenged me to follow the English Premier League. I researched clubs. I found Leeds. I didn't know that they were in the second. They were in the second division, and I said, "Screw it! I love the club. I love the ground. I love the history. I'm going to be a Leeds United fan, and let's go on this journey. I'll follow them in the English second division, the Championship, and I've loved every single second of it. Gary Monk, the terrible year after him where we had Hecking finish bottom, and I forgot the other guy's name. I can imagine his face, but he was terrible. He had a bright start, though, I think. And then, although Heckingbottom's done fairly well, I think, with Sheffield United. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And then, obviously, the rise of Marcelo Bielsa, the following ensuing documentaries, The Heartbreak at Derby and Fat Frank, and then incredible ninth place and during COVID, which was fantastic to watch and see when the stay-at-home orders were happening across at least the United States and England. It was so great to see such beautiful football. And then the recent hire of the American Jesse Marsch. It's been a wild journey. And so I understand the context. I haven't been a long-suffering Leeds fan like many of you out there, but I am fairly suffering, I guess, and hopefully suffering no more. I want to talk about Dan James and Jack Harrison, the possible sale of them. First of all, I want to start off with, I've always, if you look at the previous videos, I've rated Jack Harrison very highly, not only because of his talent, and his story is incredible, going to America and at the MLS, and then coming back to England and becoming a Premier League player. It's an incredible story, but it's not just that. It's I just think he's available every week. He's a fantastic player, and he's available every week. And during last year, when we had so many different players out, it was good to see Jack Harrison available week in, week out. So it's understandable that people are looking, and specifically Newcastle's looking at him. It's understandable that Spurs might be looking at Dan James. I talked to my Spurs friend about what's the scouting report on Dan James. I said he's pacey. He was rated when we wanted to get him from Swansea as a player that could play himself in. He could knock the ball past the defense and put himself in. And the highlights of him doing that at Swansea was incredible. There's a saying in America that you can't teach speed. In a lot of sports, it's the one thing that you just can't teach. In other words, you could teach form, you could drill some of these things but the one thing you can't teach is speed. You're either fast or you're not fast. And Dan James is a quick player, and that's why he's continued to be valued, and I think that's why Spurs want him. He puts in a great cross still. Could he be more clinical? Yes, 100%. Could he be better on the ball? 100%. He could be. I want to talk a little bit about also the scarcity mindset of Leeds United fans as an somewhat recent American fan. If we're a top 6 side, we don't care that Luis Sinisterra and Dan James are competing for a position. Like, why would we care that Luis Sinisterra would eventually come up and block Dan James, and thus we need to sell Dan James? We need at least, my Liverpool friend says he wants 3 starters at every position, a la what I guess Klopp did with Minamino last year. Hey, you're our cup guy, the energy drink cup player. You're gonna go in and you're gonna score and you're gonna get us to the final of it. Like, that's what they want. That's the role. So throughout the course, we're in domestic cups, we're not in the Champions League, etc. But we need at least 2 starters just because injuries happen. We do eventually want to make a cup run. So I want to see more players in. I don't want to see players go. And I understand that players have to go because obviously look at Rafinha. Hopefully the check clears from Barcelona and we're able to pay for all the incomings and the balance sheets looks good, etc., etc. With this all being said, there's a slight rumor of Christian Pulisic coming in the squad, and I also want to talk a little bit about that because that's probably why you're clicking this video. Christian Pulisic is unbiasedly, as much as I can be, the most talented United States men's national team player. I know I said on a couple of blogs and on Twitter that Brendan Aronson will have more goals and assists than Christian Pulisic this year, and U.S. fans of soccer are usually a fan of their MLS team and a fan of the USMNT. That's really, they don't necessarily, and they kind of follow Champions League, and they don't really understand kind of the depths and the nuance of Premier League and, big European clubs. But make no bones about it, Christian Pulisic is the most talented player to come out of the United States ever. He is fantastic. And if we were to sell Dan James, or we were to sell Jack Harrison, and we were to bring in Christian Pulisic, this would be a massive, not only an upgrade on those players, Dan James and Jack Harrison, but it would be a massive get because he has so many fans in this country where he's the one player that a lot of people know about. Oh yeah, Christian Pulisic, he's good. Like, the average person on the street knows about Christian Pulisic. Oh yeah, he plays at Chelsea. He's not getting a lot of game time. Why is that? And, I'll be honest, he's not better than Raheem Sterling. But with that being said, he would be a massive player for Leeds United, and it would be a massive get for the club in terms of brand recognition, shirt sales, social media follows, everything. The market value of the club would go up and up and up. And we have to take this with a pinch of salt because, yes, we have American players, but we don't have more American players than Spanish players at Leeds United. We've got, right now, 2 American players. The difference is we have an American coach. That's why I think a lot of this is like a 180. And the fact that the American market is, the Premier League, so much more accessible to Americans than RB Salzburg or RB Leipzig was. Those games are. These games are much more, because of NBC and Peacock, the Premier League is hyped a lot more in this country. So the brand exposure that Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson are getting here at Leeds, because we're in the Premier League, is so massive. Even though we're not, quote unquote, playing in Champions League football. So Christian Pulisic wants game time. Well, let's go through some of the clubs that off the top of my head. He's obviously not starting at Chelsea. Again, a lot of this has to do with the World Cup here, but he's not starting at Chelsea. unbiasedly, that's probably fair. He wouldn't start at Spurs. I think he would I think he would compete maybe at Manchester United. I think he would probably compete and maybe win some game time at Liverpool. Based on Liverpool's recent form, they look kind of tired, and I don't think he would be, you know, I think he would be in that rotation. And I think he would get more game time than he's getting at Chelsea. But a risk. Um, where else? Arsenal? No. No. He's not. Makes no sense, right? They have a lot of depth at wingers. It didn't even make sense when they wanted Rafinha, but again, these are top six sides. They could pull out the checkbook and get the deal done, maybe. But the guy wants playing time. Where else are we at? Newcastle United? Maybe. He's not starting ahead of St. Max. I mean, who else are we talking about? I mean, I don't think he would go to the dumpster fire that is Everton. No offense to Everton out there, but like that's relegation fodder right now. Early doors, but so Leeds is an option, and it's a very attractive option. I mean, the rumors out there are Leeds, Manchester United, and Newcastle United. So I've just gone through the other two and why they would be kind of maybe not a fit. So if we sell Dan James or I wouldn't say or Jack Harrison, and that allows us to get Pulisic, he's a heck of a player. I'm not kidding you. He's the best USMNT player. I know Brendan Aaronson's amongst the goals. The other thing that would bring is a partnership between Aaronson. They've played together on the national team. The national team is very important for these guys because they didn't get exposure in the World Cup the last cycle. They're getting exposure now, and in 4 years it's in North America. So, with that being said, it's a long shot. It's a half court shot. It's in the United States. It's a Hail Mary in American football where you're at like the 20-yard line, you throw a pass, it goes 80 yards, and you're hoping that somebody catches it. It's all those cliches rolled up into one. But, whoa. And it's just a little bit of a rumor right now. But as Leeds fans, I think because of the start, because of the CDK money that's there, and if there's a possible sale, maybe we can dream a little bit about Christian Pulisic. So that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, share. What do you think? Is that a good move? Again, I don't want to see Dan James or Jack Harrison leave. And in fact, if we have a big squad mentality, we don't want them to, they're going to leave. Competition breeds, that's the best thing in the world is competition. Brings out the best in people. If there's inside the club, there's competition. I mean, we're going to get the best out of those players. So I don't want to see them leave. But if they do leave and we get Pulisic, get excited. That's it. Marching on together. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.